Hello there, YouTube. Hello, everybody. And this is another installment, and this is the first installment, actually, of Mega Man Month. Yes, I kind of stole something. And what can I say about the Blue Bomber, Capcom's main runner? Honestly, Capcom had games before Mega Man. Capcom games had games after Mega Man. But to be perfectly honest, the only one that had staying power, that prolonged, and still to this day, people are still wanting more Mega Man, is Mega Man. Literally, even Resident Evil, their second flagship, the one that blew them up, is nowhere compared to Mega Man. Like, Mega Man is so popular that they even put they put Mega Man stuff in their other video games. Like, Resident Evil died. Everyone said Resident Evil was the next thing that Capcom was going to be well known for, and they were well known for Resident Evil. It got pretty good, but then it just... And that was the end of that chapter. And honestly, people are still saying, Mega Man, where's my Mega Man? And that's exactly right. Mega Man was, is, and forever will be the best gaming series that Capcom ever made. So popular that the game has transcended almost every console. There has always been a Mega Man game. Now, admittedly, there's been some DLC stuff that's come out, and that's pretty much, the Mega Man, as of late, Mega Man did take a little bit of a tumble due to the DLC stuff that did come out on the Xbox, and who knows what we'll see for Xbox One and the new console generation, but it's always been out there, and I really hope, and I hope for everything, that Capcom smartens the fuck up, and, doesn't do anything stupid. And so, well, I've decided that if I'm going to do Mega Man, I'm going to do Mega Man right. And I think I'm going to look at Mega Man games that I'm going to touch some of the gold classic games that I liked and loved, obviously. But I think I thought about it for a while, and I think I'm going to touch on the games and the stuff that people didn't know existed. So what am I going to be talking about for the first installment is Wiley's War. Yes, there was a Mega Man game on Sega. Like, I hate to say it, Mega Man was more for me than Mario. I'm gonna say it. First person to come out and say it. Fuck the plumber. Love the Blue Bomber. That is literally how I say, how I look at it. When I played Super Mario, I was like the Super Mario Nintendo era, crap. Mega Man fucking blew my mind. Until Legend of Zelda came out. Until I got my hands on Legend of Zelda. But that's neither here nor there. Because I love Zelda too. But the Wiley Wars was a Sega copy, and honestly, I didn't know this for years that Sega had this. I purely thought that Mega Man the Blue Bomber was only on Nintendo. I couldn't believe that. And it just goes to show that Capcom had an amazing game when they ran Mega Man on Nintendo up to like Mega Man 6 was the last Mega Man game on the Nintendo. Went all the way up there and actually did that. And people, like, it still blows my fucking mind that actually happened. They actually pushed it all the way up to this huge Mega Man game all the way through. And yeah, that's kind of shocking and cool. And what else can I say about the fact that something was actually good? All three Mega Man games on one thing, on the Sega Genesis. That's kind of cool. But let's break it down. So let's talk about the first Mega Man game. And do the first Mega Man. Now, here's the thing about it. We'll do a rough layout of each game and kind of like talk about a little bit of all three, because it is an installment of 3 games. First of all, the gameplay. The gameplay on this is, how can I say, it is actually quite good. but it is a little bit slow, which is weird for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's such a slow thing. Okay, your character moves kind of slow. The benefit is the glitching and the a little bit of the lagging that would happen in the original Mega Man game, and especially in Mega Man 2 and 3. That there's always these one points where there's so much stuff on the screen that it would actually lag for a little bit. Like Mega Man 1, the best example of that is the Cut Man stage. There's a scene where there's all these things flying together in unison, and because they're flying together in unison, it can lag a little tiny bit. Just a smidget. In this one, that lag isn't really there, but that's also because the game is kind of slow. This really does change change the game just a smidget. It changes it just a little bit because now you kind of have to move a little bit differently because you can't get the proper jumps, which is really weird. I hate to say it. Sega, what the fuck, man? Like, that always made me laugh. It's like the game company that gave us Sonic, one of the fastest games, and they also gave us a couple other really fast games, doesn't have a game that's like, this thing is actually slow. This is actually very slow. I'm very shocked by how slow this is. I don't know. It's the weirdest fucking damnedest thing. So as I'm playing through this, the first Mega Man, I finally get to the first boss, and the first boss that I actually play, I've noticed something else about this game for the gameplay. Wow. The bosses don't take the same hit detection as the Nintendo version, which again adds a really different gameplay to it. You got to be a little bit more choice with your shots, because the first time I played it, I remember playing it and I ran up, and in the original Nintendo version, you just walk up to Cutman, for example, go ba 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 ba, and he's dead. He's like one of the easiest bosses you can kill. It's like 2 jumps and you're pretty much killed him. This one you have to like boom, 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 boom. It's a slower shots, and he's actually hard. I died by Cutman. Replaying this game, I died by Cutman. I was like, holy fuck, Cutman killed me. How the fuck did Cutman... That fucking Cutman! Cutman killed me. Holy shit. And this is the other thing. I ran into other bosses like this that were just a little bit harder because of this. Like, Airman's a little bit harder. And it's weird because the faster guys, like, Quickman, are actually still very fast. So it does have this weird screwed up it just makes the game a little bit different. But it also makes the game a little bit more easier in certain places because, for example, the dragon, once you get to the area where you think, because he's kind of slow, he's almost I found him easy to get past in this one because he's a little bit slower. It's really, I can't really say how it's such an unusual thing. It makes the game challenging in some parts and makes the game super easy in others. It's weird. Like, I honestly hated the stupid sand boss, or that golem that you fight. Not Golem, the little Smeagol guy. Golem as in an actual golem. It's actually this. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called a sand devil. Oh, it's Yellow Devil, I think, or something. I can't remember what it's called. It actually has a name. I don't remember what it's called anymore. I remember seeing it in the fighting game that was on. It was in the Anniversary Collection. He's a little bit of a prick. Basically, bits and pieces of this guy, this yellow monster, appear, and you got to jump him. I found him really hard in the Nintendo version, but in this version I found him a little bit easier because he was a little bit easier to dodge because he's a little bit slower. So that's one of the big problems. Now let's come to the actual graphics. Wow, I wish these graphics were in the... I wish they had done this when they did the original game, the Anniversary Collection, because the graphics in this are actually really good. Like, really solid. I guess in some ways I like the fact that the Anniversary Collection didn't upgrade the graphics a bit, but this one's a little bit closer to Mega Man. It's way close. It's like a little timbit closer to Mega Man. You can kind of notice it, but the graphics are way better. Like, way, way, way better. Like, at least 3 times better. You get way better graphics, which means you can see stuff a little bit better. Actually, stuff looks a little bit more crisper. It's really quite good. Now the next thing I can honestly talk about is the music. Why is Sega suck with music so much? The Genesis, this was a big gripe for me in the Genesis. Genesis has some good sound graphics. I actually like. A great example of this is the Shinobi game. I love the Shinobi 3 for music. The music in it is awesome. But I just feel like this one just didn't have the same music quality of the Nintendo version. The Nintendo, not the freaking Super Nintendo. You can't, but the Nintendo version. Why the hell does I'll never understand Genesis for this. They never are ever able to get the better sound quality, which is weird because you hear some of the Sega games now, they're beautiful sound quality, but you know, if you play some of the newer stuff that's come out from Sega, well, I guess Sega's now a gamer company now. They're not really a console company anymore. But you know, it just you want better sound. I just felt like this didn't have the good sound. But that's just my one little bitch about it, and it is a pretty big bitch because it's always bugged me with Sega. So. The bosses are pretty much hit and miss. Some of the bosses are really good. Some of the bosses are really just eh. You know, you have your standard bosses like from Mega Man 1, 2, and 3. There's really nothing new in the game. They really didn't do anything. I thought I'd see something a little bit better, but they really didn't add anything that I hadn't seen before. You know, I was hoping to see maybe there was like a secret something or rather. You know how Sega was doing that for some of their stuff where you actually could get secret, you know, they'd have a secret this or secret that. A great example of this is Crusader, I think it's Crusade of the Century, if I remember correctly, the Sega game. You can find Sonic somewhere in an area. And I like that, but they really didn't do that with this one, so there really wasn't anything that made me go, oh, hey, this looks cool. And that kind of bugged me a little bit because I love to see more. I would have loved to see a little bit more in this game. That's just me, I guess. I would have liked to see Sega do something kind of unique, but overall, it's a decent game. Not the greatest. Like I said, it's weird because it's a little bit slower. Because you gotta pick and pull your punches. I find it a little bit more challenging in a lot of areas. But that's only it. It's a little bit more challenging. It's kind of a weird twist. Honestly, compared to the original ones should be frickin' hanged up on, like, these should be playing in the fucking loop. The loop, for fuck's sakes. These games are perfection. Absolute perfections, work of art, amazing games. This is why Capcom was lasted as long as it had, and this is why Capcom is dying and sucks. This is why I call them Crapcom now. It's just like they're beautiful. They're works of art. To see them on the Sega Genesis goes to show that these were works of art. The Mega Man Wily's War game, I'm gonna give it about a 6. Because it does add an unusual challenge, and I do kind of like it. It's weird. It's something, even, you know, for some of the shortcomings, it is a little bit of a better graphic game, which is also really fun, and I actually love that. But it is a weird thing for me. It's a little bit of a love-hate. Honestly, the Anniversary Collection that came out later on in years on the PlayStation 2, the GameCube, and did it come out on the Xbox? It might have come out on the... I'll have to look and see if it came out on the Xbox. Maybe. I probably didn't, but... The anniversary collection that came out was obviously the superior beast because it they did take from the original games, and we did get up to Mega Man, I think 8 or not. I think they got up to, I think it was 8. Yeah, it was 8. Mega Man 8. So that was pretty cool. That we actually got to see the Sega game that came out for it. So it was overall a good game. Rather enjoyed it. Rather enjoyed Wiley's War. Anniversary Collection obviously was the better game, but we weren't really doing a comparison. This is just that. And it just goes to show that Capcom was absolute idiots to kill Mega Man. Like, come on. It ported to a rival system of Nintendo, who they actually had Mega Man games. That's amazing. That's amazing. It was so awesome, so amazing that Genesis got it. I just got to keep going back to it. Absolutely amazing. Great collection. Good collection of the original 3 games. I would have loved to see if there was like a Wily's War 2, 3, and 4 or something like that, so we could have got the other games. But for what it is, good. I enjoyed it. 6. Alrighty, guys. So this is the first one. The next ones, I'm going to be touching some of the Mega Man Game Boy games because they actually, Mega Man had Game Boy games, and there actually was a unique Mega Man game that came out, and some unique stuff that did come out for Mega Man. And then I'll be touching on, maybe I might be touching on something else that a lot of people have forgotten, but I'm not going to let them forget. And I'm not talking about the Mega Man soccer game. Although I could. I have that one. Oh. I'll ignore that one. Alright, guys. Have a good one, and continue listening, and I'll have more Mega Man month coming up. See ya.